Kids and cadets, welcome back to Tommy Time. Appreciate you coming out. We're going to do a carb clean as a precaution on this 2014 TB110. It's a Troy-Bilt machine with the 550EX. It's got the automatic choke. We had done a previous carb clean on this Craftsman. This group of mowers came out of 5 for 120. We had got this thing to start. It had crappy fuel in it, so that's going to be a good seller. That got my money back on the 120 deal. I think 150 is what I'll ask for this. In the meantime, scrapper that delivers, I went to his location. We did a video on this. I ended up fixing the recoil after the last video, put new rope on it. Actually, this is the one. This is the OEM one, and I just redid it with new rope. This one here is a Chinese reproduction that I had to try to start the machine. We got the engine to start. It had terribly watery fuel. I'm going to use that engine on another project. I'm going to save it. Deck is shot. So like I said, we're going through this thing here, another automatic choke carburetor. We're just doing this as a precaution. It did start after we motivated with some happy juice. It started, probably sat for a long time. I see a lot of black mold here on the gas tank. So it was probably borderline fuel. We got it to kick off with highly flammable nitro. So let's start with some fresh fuel and a clean carb. This thing's a little, I would say, on the rough side. This front wheel here does not belong. It's probably a 6 or 7 inch wheel. It probably needs an 8-inch wheel. So that's something I have to address on the right side front. Look at the recoil. Both pawls are in place. Probably never been apart since new. It's got some build up there. Why don't I take my air gun and kind of clean up under the recoil. There's a lot of snot. The linkage for the automatic choke is where it should be. On that Craftsman we worked at, it was on the wrong side of the linkage. It was something like that. Here's your choke lever. So doing this is not going to move your choke lever. It's got to be on the back side. Some buildup. I'm going to blast this first. Got some buildup in your air veins. You want to make sure these are free and clear. You want air flowing through here to cool the head. So I got to blast that through. So let's get busy. Carburetor looks clean compared to the rest of the gunky engine. This thing may have been replaced. Let's look at it. From what I can tell, it looks cleaner than the surrounding area. Briggs & Stratton paper cartridge filter 593260 is what's here. Let's remove the air filter backing plate. You're going to have 5/16 for the outer sheet metal, which is going to be on my driver right here. So another toasty day in Southwest Florida. 90, 91 in the shade. For you Swiss and Spain individuals, it looks like it's 33 or 34 Celsius is what we're looking at. 33 Celsius or 90 degrees Fahrenheit. But in the shade, it's not too bad. If I was out in the full sun, I would be complaining. And we got a breeze, slight breeze out of the northwest, it looks like. Landscaping guy down the street, he just fired up a weed whacker. Lift up the tank, pull out the carb. Let's see if we can see if it's aftermarket or a Briggs. Maybe somebody's tried to clean this thing. Remove the linkages. Let's see what we got. I'm going to empty the tank into this container. Ooh, it was looking good till the end, and then we got so much garbage poured into this thing. It's unbelievable. It was all sitting at the bottom of the tank. It's a good thing I did it. That's the second bad tank of gas we got. The Kraft EM260 was just as bad. But I don't see any water here. A lot of debris. The gas resembles elephant urine in color, so it's kind of old. Let me separate the carb from the tank. We'll do some more cleaning on the tank, blast that out. I wonder how so much debris gets in people's gas cans. You know what I mean? We got a little crack in the pipe there. I might have to change that out. I may have something within walking distance that I could snatch. Let me air out the tank. Okay, that cleaned up pretty good. I can see the bottom and it's dry. blast it off the cap. I like to blast air into that little breather hole. It'll blast air out around the seam there. So that's ready to go back on, except for that crack. We'll deal with that momentarily. Let's keep plowing. Going to separate the bowl. So is this an original? Yeah, it's an original. It's got the stamp on it and a ID number. I think it's the 284-952. It just looks like it was cleaner than the rest of the unit. I don't know. Maybe it had been in the shop. It was in the shop. They cleaned it. Harvey came home and he poured more of his 3-year-old gas in it and killed it right away. I wonder if shops tell people to get new fuel, or is it assumed that you're going to get new fuel? I don't know if people are smart enough to figure it out. I wonder if shops tell them, like, hey, start off with some fresh fuel like today and not something you've had since 2021. I tell everybody that. I don't want to see anybody more than twice. So there is something down in there, something white. Let's see if we could dump this, and if it was watery, it'll go to the bottom. I don't think it was watery. It was more junk contaminated than water. Yeah. So let's move this. We know it was elephant urine. Let's blast out the bowl. Who's coming in? United. Wheels down, flaps down. United's coming to town. Okay, so the jet's open, but where's our pin for the float? You guys see where it went? Okay, here it is. Somehow it landed on the deck. You think it wasn't on? That might explain it. Somebody took this thing apart, cleaned up the outside, and maybe didn't know how to put the bowl back on. Okay, you never know. Time to pop the cartridge. Secondary jet's open, I can see that. This is all deja vu. We just did this on the Crafty. That's why I like taking the secondary jet off. We got something there. Some yard waste or some sort made its way in here. A little bit there. Hanging on. Let me get rid of that. my dirty fingers. Okay, put that in the bowl. Let's work this with some compressed air. Good enough. I'll put my cartridge in and then we'll work the float assembly next. I'll let gravity work for me. Put the hinge down. So this plastic style, you put the pin in. Pin goes in first. It's not like the other ones where you slide it through. Put in my needle, let the needle hang. Guide the needle into the hole. That's why gravity's my friend. And then push on the center of the pin there. Clicks. Give it the blow test. It's stopping air pressure in the up position, letting air in when it's down. So that's going to do the same for the fuel. Bowl still clean. Who's coming in? Southwest. His wheels are down and the flaps are down. Everybody's prepared to land. Okay, here's a gasket that's blown out a little bit, but not too bad. So we're just going to tuck it in with a flat end of a screwdriver. Try not to damage it, just kind of coach it. Give it a little push. That should do it. And now we're even. See, I just put some pressure on this and flipped it over so I could feel something moving. Okay, time for the screws, but before we do, we're still on the 12-ounce Mountain Dew. I blew some shit in there. Okay. I'll pretend I'm in a spring-fed mountain river somewhere up north, sitting under a waterfall. Start with the throttle / governor linkage, automatic choke linkage. Guide it into the intake tube. Okay, that's on. Backing plate. Start with the 2 screws that go into the plastic carb. Switch bits 5/16. Sheet metal screws next. One down, one to go. Gonna tuck in the metal a little bit here. I'm not lined up. Let me loosen up this side. Somehow I'm cockeyed. Why? Okay, did that help? I'm gonna start over. Something's not lined up. These should make a difference here, but I'm gonna do it anyway. Oh, I see. That little tabby thing was hitting the metal. I didn't have it in the slot right there, so that was my screw up. That brought this metal in. So I'm glad I didn't force anything. I'm glad I didn't get disgruntled and say, you SOB, you're going in no matter what. I did not say that. I had patience. You got to have patience if you're a backyard shade tree mechanic. You can't be breaking shit. If you're a shop and you got 35 widgets in the supply room, then you just go get another one if you screw up. I don't have that luxury. If I have a screw up, I got to wait a week for something to come in Flea Bay, or the big jungle company. I want to get crap fixed and not have it hang around. Okay, spring came off here. I reattached it. Everything looks like it's moving. This is on. Time for the tank. Tank's clean. Let me go grab another hose. This hose is weeping out of that hole. I don't want that. I got a couple of tanks that I use the Kafut or 2-part compound on and fixed up the rat damage holes. So let me grab one of those and see if it's got a hose on it. Okay, I'm looking at one now. It's got a hose. But it looks like an aftermarket hose. It might work for us. For us, not forced. This isn't a Forrest Gump project. Okay, I'm looking at some other tanks here, and I think we came up with something. Going to take it off of 2016. This is what I had fixed with the Carburetor, the two-part. You just spray paint it. It ends up being a gray, like Marine Tex or JB Weld. So that hose was that one, but I found another tank, 2016 tank with the right size. Let me remove this. It's a little stiff. Okay, broke it free. It didn't break anything, hopefully. Okay, there we're off. Let's remove this one. Somebody's put an aftermarket clamp on there. We'll go ahead and make it all uniform. Hardly ever have issues with hoses, but somehow this one had an issue. Maybe somebody wasn't careful when they removed this, damaged it. We'll put it on the tank side first. Kind of bring that one down, slide this up. Looks good to me. Something like that. Line this one up so I can get a bite on it. Sometimes the side issues with your Besta stuff take more time than the main issue. You know what I mean? Okay, where are we? I don't want to get my big head in the way. Mr. Snake, what's happening under there? I'm going to move you. I don't want flammable liquid falling down on you, just in case. You watch from a safe distance. Okay, let me grab my oiler upper. I'm going to oil up the recoil. Where's the spring? Here's my Z-bend in the spring. Right there. So I'm going to shoot some oil down into that little hole. That'll coat the spring, prevent it from rusting and breaking. When Godzilla pulls this thing over one day, he'll end up breaking this if it's rusty. Keep that nice and lubricated. You can't tell Godzilla nothing. He won't listen. Little weeping through the bottom side. I don't care about that. 5/16 on the 3 recoil bolts. Oh, this is the one that was overfilled on the oil. I'm just going to put a little dab of oil on these sheet metals off the end of the dipstick. I guess I could have used my oil can sitting right there. Okay, so this thing will probably smoke. I just want to see if it starts, then I'll deal with the oil. How does the oil look? Yeah, I'd change it out. It's on the darker side, so it needs to be changed anyway. What are we down to? 8 ounces. I better get busy here. Hold on. Stay hydrated. Not with sugary water, drinks, soda. You got to drink water in between. Okay. Where's the fresh Wawa gas miles? We'll do that since you're here. And I'm here. We're all here. What do you hear? That should be enough. Somebody's got an old Ford, 60s Ford. You hear that? No muffler, straight pipes, no catalytic converter. You get that breeze and you smell the unburned fuel. Like the good old days. Okay, let's drop this down. Let me move some crap out of the way. We'll bring you over to the concrete so there's no dust storm. Let me put the wheels up. I lowered the wheel so it doesn't roll off of the table here. So the deck lies flat on the metal. Okay, let me get you. Okay, what are we going to do? We're going to pull on this thing with all our might. Like I said, we know we're overfilled here. It may be a little smoky. Let me give you a better vantage point. You'll still be in the shade, but this is in the sun. We'll see if it smokes or chokes. Okay, what was the blade situation with this thing? Oh boy. This is the one where they had really nicked it up. So it needs a new blade. It's really nicked. They really beat the living crap out of that thing. Let me show you. We may need a new safety brake cable. There's a big hose clamp up there doing something. from here all the way down. Look at that. Ooh. What were they doing? Trying to chop rocks? Haven't seen one that rough. Right there. I'm probably pouring out oil since it's overfilled. No, not yet. Okay, now let's get busy. It's busy time. Busy time at Tommy time. Okay. I'm going to cut in front of you. Sorry. I'm going to flip it back over. We knew this thing started. It's got that vibration from that blade being chewed up. I've got another blade. We're going to put it on. I got a 10-pack right here. I got a 10-pack of 21 with the bow tie, so let me put a new one on and see if it stops the vibration. Okay, 5/8 on those nuts. Where is it? I see it. I had messed with it earlier. Here we go. I got it on my breaker bar. Let me snatch a blade. I put a blade on the Crafty just to get it to start a 21, but let me just take one out of the box. It'll be quicker to do it that way. It's the MTD number 942-0741, or you use the Oregon number 198049. Rotary 6423. So let me grab the 5/8, remove this one. I'm pretty sure these are 21s. Yep, we got it. We got it handled. Eee. Okay, so we'll be ready with the blade, new blade. We got to do the oil change, which I'll probably do that on my own. And see, will Lawrence Carroll approve this one? No, like I said, it's kind of rough around the edges, so it's not going to be a shiny turd, but it's going to be a functional turd. How's that? Take my razor, get rid of this fishing line, and oh good, I didn't slice my finger in half. It's like a piece of cloth, piece of pantyhose or something. Probably doesn't matter, but I like to get all this snot off of here. I'm just worried it's going to work itself up to the oil seal and cause me issues, or cause Harvey some issues. Okay, let me grab a little axle grease so Harvey has an easier time if he's got to do a blade change. Goop a little bit of it on the adapter here. That looks good enough. New blade goes on, and then what I like to do is put a little bit here on the top of the bolt, or right here on the spacer, something like that. Then I'd take my 10mm and go along here and secure the front end to the deck. These end up getting loose over time, just part of the maintenance protocol that I do. Okay, that's on. I still got to go to my junk mower section and look for a good used wheel. I know I have one because I saved these front ends off of shitbox mowers. Actually, I'm looking at the tread pattern there. Since this deck is shot, I think we found a candidate right here. It's got the moon hole hubcaps. I think we just hit a home run. Yep. There's our candidate, that crafty. Okay. Let's see if that stopped the vibration. They got an E3 plug on here. Oh, and it's loose. Let's address that. I was just tightening up the tip there and the whole plug moved, so that's not a good sign. So somebody's been trying to doctor up this mower. I think they were in the carburetor, and now I see an aftermarket plug. What is it? E320. Let me blast this off. I'll reuse it since it started. Doesn't look like it's been installed very long. So after I send you home, I'll do the oil change the oil, and then hose it down, let it dry overnight, and then I got to come back and I'll touch this scrape up with some black paint and then do the engine case with black. On this side, it's peeling off. Try to do the best I can to make it look halfway decent. Okay, let's try it again. Pull and go. Okay, that worked out the way I wanted it to. The vibration went away with the new blade. So cutting rocks was not the best thing Harvey could have been doing. So that accounted for our imbalance here. The new blade solved my shaky shake. So happy with this one. This makes two that we've rescued. This one started when we first got it, but we had to motivate it with some happy juice. It finally started, but we saw the fuel needed to be changed out. Bad dirty fuel. A lot of debris is not a good thing. And if it's colored like elephant urine, it's even worse. So I'm happy. 2 out of the 5 in that group, 5 for 120, have turned into great machines. This Craftsman is going to be a good seller. All that dust is from that guy starting it here in the sand pit. Like I said, it blasted sand all over the place. 2020 on the Craftsman. Okay, that's all I got for you. Appreciate you guys coming out. Please tip your waitress and wait staff. I hope you enjoyed this resurrection of 2 crappy mowers. I'm going to have a little more mountain spew, maybe go on to another project after I degrease that turd and put another wheel on it. Since this thing's going in the trash, the Crafty with the bad deck. Oh, wrong size. So that's got bigger wheels on the Crafty, but I see something wrong with the Crafty. I'll show you. I can just tell by looking at it. Those front wheels are bigger than the back wheels. That's the hubcap I just took off. Look at the back wheels. Back wheels are different. Tread pattern's different, so I'm going to still have to search around. These are probably 8s here, and somebody's thrown some 7s back here. Those don't go to this machine. Anyway, we're getting sidetracked. You guys go have a good day. I'm going to keep plowing. Thanks again. Adios, amigos. An hour of nonsense nearly. It's time to call it quits. Okay, see you.